Hello.
Don't look at me.
I'm trying not to look at my husband. All right, this is Tammy here in my kitchen with Allison Purcell, my friend, and her daughter Eliana, and in the background is my husband Peter. Since I've had so many people tell me they want me to make a video of me cooking, we're going for it. And you see, we're real here. We don't care. We got good music going on in the background, and we're just doing it. Very spur of the moment, so we are in the middle of doing a panzanella salad. And what that is you take a loaf of bread. If you're gonna laugh, go away. I use this. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Rustic, pugless, say, whatever, loaf. But you can use French bread, you can use Italian bread, whatever you have. And if it's day old, that's even better. So what I did, let me come over here. I cut them in cubes.
Ooh,
and
that looks good.
Put olive oil on them, a little bit of salt, and I roasted them in the oven at 375 for maybe 8 to 10 minutes till they were a nice golden brown. But that's all depends on your oven because everybody's oven is different. But that's what my oven did. All right, so I chopped up some cucumbers.
Yummy.
And I used an English cucumber, but you can use, I like these because they don't really have any seeds and you can use the skin, and they just have a good flavor, and you can find them all the time at the grocery store. In the summer, I will use my own cucumbers that I grow. All right, now I'm chopping up some, because this is what I have. You can use either the big red bell peppers, or I prefer red bell peppers or yellow as opposed to green because I just feel like they have more flavor. But I'm using these little mini peppers, and we're gonna cut these up, and we're gonna toss them into salad, because the bread that I showed you that we toasted is gonna act as the lettuce. Because if you can eat bread in place of lettuce, why wouldn't you? Is what I'm saying, right?
Exactly, no kidding.
Tomorrow I might think differently when I look at myself naked in the mirror, but we won't talk about that, because you know what? As I said in my other video, if someone asks you how much you weigh, you say 100 and sexy, okay? So
That's hilarious.
here I am chopping this. I don't know how, your chopping skills may be better than mine, but I think I got pretty good skills. So we're gonna do this. And bear with me because chopping may be kind of boring to some of y'all, but you know what? That's life, right? Okay, so today we had prom. So we had all these children, and I use that term loosely because they probably would be upset if they knew that I called them children, but these young adults over, and they had a great time, I think, and ate food, and now they're promming. So here we are with my friend Allison and her daughter, just hanging out, talking about the stuff we're talking about. So there you go, there's the pepper. Oh, Eliana, can you do me a favor, should?
Yeah.
Over there, you see where my doorway is? There's like a little basket on the floor, and there's a bag of onions. Can you grab me like a little small onion? I should have done that before. Another thing you put in it is capers, which,
Those are salty, right?
yes, thank you, dear. I absolutely love capers. I always have them on hand. They are good from tuna salad to deviled eggs, chicken piccata, which I make all the time. So I just, and
throw them in there.
If you notice, I don't really follow the recipe. I will be following the recipe when I make the vinaigrette, because you got to get your proportions right on that. So that was some capers. Now I'm going to take I believe this is a Texas sweet onion. You could use, everybody always talks about using red onions, but I think red onions are really harsh, even though they say they're sweeter, but I disagree. I don't think so. So if you can get like a Texas sweet, or even better when they're in season, a Vidalia onion, which is from Vidalia, Georgia. Those are, to me, the best onions because A, they don't make you cry, and B, they're super sweet and they taste delicioso. So as you see, I'm peeling the skin off, and I cut it in half, and then I'm going to do really thin, what would you call this? Half moons?
Yes, they look
Does
like,
that work for you?
yeah, they kind of look like rainbows.
Rainbows?
Yeah.
How
It's like
so?
a little arch.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Only not colorful.
Totally. I get it. So then, see how they look when you...
They look happy, like you
Yeah.
like a smile.
So you... Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So you throw those in the bowl, and you kind of separate them out. And I follow, if anybody wants the true recipe, I get my recipe from Ina Garten, the Barefoot Contessa,
Ooh,
because
I love to watch
she's
her
my
show.
favorite. She cooks very good food, but it's very much within reach of people. But it seems fancy, but it's really not. Okay.
I like it because they always go get flowers and different
Absolutely. I mean, what is life without flowers? I couldn't exist.
things.
Zoom
Flowers
in.
right there. You see right there, flowers.
Okay, so now we got to do some tomatoes. Now, listen here. I'm not a fan of tomatoes that are store-bought off-season because I think they have absolutely no flavor. However, if you have to buy, and we're starting to see a little bit more tomatoes in the grocery store, and I will have my own in the summer. But these Campari tomatoes, Campari, I do believe is how you spell it, are a good substitute when you can't get farm fresh or homegrown tomatoes. They have a pretty good flavor, even though they're store-bought. If you buy like the Roma or the anything at this time of year, or the whatever they have in there, they really don't have a ton of flavor. And in fact, most grocery store tomatoes don't have a lot of flavor. So I highly recommend going to your farmer's market, or even better, growing your own if you can. So I'm just chopping these up in here. And as you see, I'm chopping them up in this big red bowl, but when I serve it, well, I probably won't do that tonight because I'm lazy tonight. But if I was like serving for family or friends or whatever, I would chop it up in a big ugly bowl like this, and then I would transfer it to a much prettier bowl, because presentation is key as well. 'Cause you eat with your eyes first, right?
Right.
And if it doesn't look good, you're probably not going to eat it.
No, I don't like a lot of extra dishes, so I just put it
Yeah.
in whatever I'm going to keep it in.
I mean, I do a lot of family style. I won't lie, you know. But I'm saying if I was having like a dinner party,
Right,
or
that makes
something like
sense.
that, I might be inclined to take it out of that bowl and
I'd put it in something with a lid, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to move it.
Yeah. So here we go. Just kind of a rough chop, bite-sized pieces. Now, I'm gonna have to go to my computer and look at my, let's see.
They're going to follow her. She has to do her research.
Oh, I gotta look at, I'm just looking at my,
Checking the recipe.
I'm just checking my recipe because, like I said, I have to get the,
We should have had a musical interlude. Diana.
we're listening to
Yeah.
Skid Row, man.
There you go.
Okay, so we need olive oil, and Ina says champagne vinegar, but I never buy champagne vinegar.
Wait, what are you making?
This is the vinaigrette that
The
we're gonna
vinaigrette,
put
okay.
into there. Ina says to use champagne vinegar, but I never have champagne vinegar because I live in Murray, Kentucky, and finding champagne vinegar can be quite challenging. But any kind of vinegar you like, I use red wine, white wine, vinegar, whatever. I think it's perfectly acceptable. Whoops. All right, I need Eliana to go do me another favor. Actually, I might be able to get this out of here. Hold on, I gotta look at my recipe again.
Okay.
Dead space. Sing for us, Allison. Half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I think we'll
La 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 la.
Let's see.
Making the vinaigrette.
Half a cup of olive oil. I don't think, since I'm not doing as much as she said, I might not do a half a cup. But I like to mix my, well, maybe I will. I like to mix my vinaigrettes and stuff in a measuring bowl, because you can, or measuring cup, because you can measure, stir it up, and then pour, and then you don't have to worry about, you know.
Hey, you should design some really, really pretty measuring cups so that, like, when you have your cooking show and you measure, they'll be like really fancy.
Let's dream big.
You're gonna have your own line.
There you go.
Someday.
We'll see.
Kind of like the Pioneer
All right.
Man, only your own stuff.
Okay, here's my.
Take a break.
What?
No, we're not taking a break. We're making a vinaigrette.
We're making a vinaigrette. Here's my pretty copper.
Those are pretty.
My daughter gave me these for
Very
Christmas.
shiny.
Yes, I like them a lot. So 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, because I don't have champagne vinegar, but that's okay. Half the thing about cooking, people get so intimidated because I don't have that, but you can sub stuff out, so don't sweat that stuff. And once you start cooking, you know, you'll figure stuff out. Now I'm gonna need, oh shoot, I did that again. Half a teaspoon.
You're gonna be able to get it. You're gonna work a magical miracle. She's just gonna get it out.
It's
of
only a
that
half
jar.
teaspoon. Yeah, half a teaspoon of Dijon. I have another, what do you call it? Jar. All right, come out of there. Peter, can you go look in my little basket over there and get a garlic out of the, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so always salt and pepper everything. If you don't salt while you're cooking, your food will be flavorless. That is
I totally agree with
shiggity.
you. I like salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm. And I like kosher salt. I use Himalayan salt as well.
I like Himalayan salt because it's pink.
I know, seriously. How can you not like pink, right? I just need
Assistant person with the garlic.
this is my good-looking husband who is supporting my dreams of being a freak. All right. So here's my little technique for garlic. What'd you say? What'd you say?
I don't know.
All right, you take the knife. What did he say?
I don't know. It was funny.
All right, so you take your knife, you lay it down like this.
Ooh, yeah, I've seen this.
And then you
Rachel Ray does that.
Smash it down.
Smash. That looks
That's
like a lot of fun.
bunch of garlic. Okay, and then it peels all the peeling off, and then you just do
Elena, are you watching?
a rough chop.
Yeah.
She's
She
like,
is my.
I'm videoing
She's
right
actually yeah.
she's like, what
she's
is this
also
crazy woman doing?
No, she likes to cook. She.
Oh, does
if
she?
you want one of my kids here to watch, this is the one.
I'm trying to video.
I need a videographer.
She's also videoing it. See,
okay.
you're like on 2 videos right now. Wow, I
Awesome.
see 2 of you. So like you're totally
Twice the fun.
Twice the fun.
Okay. I don't know if anybody can handle 2 of Tammy's. I mean, that's quite a lot to handle. Faux show. All right, so you see what I'm doing here? I'm putting my hand, and you could also use a little chopper thing, but I'm being lazy tonight and I'm not doing that. But you put your hand here and you kind of do a
So they're teeny tiny.
back and forth, so that you don't want like huge chunks of garlic. And I'm not like a Nazi about making it like super fine mince, but you don't want to bite into a big huge chunk of garlic, in my opinion. So I'm throwing that in there. There we go. Let me check my recipe to make sure I got everything in that. Sorry, people. This is my first time. And that's it. So I'm going to just kind of stir this stuff around. It doesn't have to be emulsified or anything like that. Just kind of stir it around. I'm going to put my bread in there. Because you want this to sit for about 30 minutes before, I mean, you can serve it right away, but in my opinion, it tastes better when you let it sit for like 30 minutes. Because all the flavors get to combine and just get delicious. So kind of stir, and you just leave it out on the countertop. See? I mean, how gorgeous is that? Isn't that gorgeous? Yes. So you just kind of stir it around, make sure everything is coated well, and then you can let it sit. And then you will thank me.
What's that called?
Panzanella salad.
Panzanella.
And I have to give a shout out to my friend Sarah and my friend Laura, because we're in a food group on Facebook, and they both were making panzanella salad, and they totally inspired me. And I actually, oh shoot, I forgot one key ingredient. Oh Lord. Actually, I'm gonna do that later. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
I'm gonna add basil
Okay.
to it. That's a key ingredient, but I don't want to add the basil right this second because it turns brown.
Okay.
And so,
you do that at the end.
yes, I'll do it. I mean, some people may go ahead and do it, but I just feel like it will turn brown since I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes. and basil is very delicate. I mean, I hear different reports. You can tear it and it's less likely to turn brown, but it still turns brown no matter what you do, in my opinion. But I'm no chef. I'm just a home cook. But don't let me forget to do that, because I will forget, because the last time I made it, I forgot. All right, now, the only thing I hate about cooking is cleaning up.
I agree.
But I remember I saw something on Facebook not long ago, and they were like, if you could have, I think it was on my food group, they were like, if you could have a robot like do all your cooking for you, would you do it? And I was like, no, because I'm like, I think cooking is a creative outlet, and it also I express love through cooking. But I was like, I for sure would have them clean up the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I had a robot clean up my kitchen, oh my Lord, have mercy. Because my family is great, but their idea of cleaning up a kitchen and my idea of cleaning up a kitchen is not necessarily the same thing, right? Okay, bye. Can you go start the grill?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the main course is I have these thick cut bone-in pork chops. And in my opinion, which is very valuable to a lot of people, I'm so full of myself. Anytime you can get a piece of meat with the bone in, I say go for it, because that is where your flavor is. And this may be too much information, but what is better than gnawing a bone after you've eaten the meat? I'm telling you, eating a steak with the bone in it, and I gnaw it's a southern thing, I guess. I don't know. Have you ever done that, Allison?
Eating ribs.
Not eating ribs. I'm talking about like a steak with the bone in it, like a T-bone.
Yeah, I haven't gnawed on the bone.
Oh my gosh, my family, every time we have something with a bone in it, they're like, Mom, do you want this?
Aw.
Do you want to gnaw the bone, Mom? Fried chicken, whatever. I will gnaw the bone all the live long day. And that is not sexual, so don't everybody take it that way, okay?
Oh,
I'm just saying.
I didn't even think of that. Oh.
Some people would, because they're nasty.
Good thing you covered that, yes.
They're nasty. Ooh, look at that. Lord
That's...
have mercy. We could all four eat this, right?
Yeah, those are big.
And what I'm doing right now is I'm drying them off, because when you're cooking meat, especially on the grill, well, not necessarily just on the grill, but in a pan, you want to have them dry, because it helps to sear them a whole lot better. So I usually, if I'm grilling or sauteing or pan frying something, not pan frying, but what's the word? Pan searing, I will dry the meat off just so that it has a better capacity for browning, because there's flavor in the browning. All right, so tonight I'm just keeping it simple. I'm not doing anything extraordinary. I'm going to go over to my spice cabinet.
Ooh, fancy.
We're kind of impressed.
I'm going to do just a Greek seasoning that I have, which has, what does it say? Onion, spices, whatever that means. I have no idea. Spearmint, oregano, garlic, and sea salt. So it's got a good flavor. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt, because sea salt is the last ingredient and they probably don't have a lot of salt in it. But I'm gonna just sprinkle that on there liberally on both sides. I'm gonna do just a little bit more salt, just because this is a huge chunk of meat, and big pieces of meat need a fair amount of salt so that you can get the flavor, And I love black pepper, so
I do too.
I'm doing black pepper. And then, just to help the browning process, a little olive oil on top. And I'm just going to use the pan that I browned the, kind of massage that in a little bit. I'm just going to use the pan that I used to brown the bread. Flip it over. Now I need to wash my hands.
Is there a reason why you flip it upside down?
Because I'm going to season
The other side?
the other side.
Okay.
if I was doing this myself, grilling it, because Peter's doing the grilling, I would probably not do it like this because you're going to lose some of the seasoning on the parchment paper. But because Peter is doing the grilling, I don't want to have to bother with him with the seasoning, so I'm going to do the seasoning myself. And I probably did this backwards the other time. I mean, it doesn't matter if you put the olive oil on first or if you put this, you know, salt on, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, a little salt. Pepper. Now, we're probably not going to be able to videotape the entire thing of him grilling because it's going to take a few minutes. And I don't know if everybody wants to watch that. But again, I'm going to kind of pat it in there. And that's pretty much it on that. I mean, sometimes I like marinade, you know, stuff, you know, whatever. But I had a busy day and I didn't mess with, you know, marinating. But if as long as you have good seasoning on there, your temperature's right, I can't see how you could go wrong with, I mean, what's not to love about any kind of grilled meat, in my opinion.
No joke.
So,
Yes.
We agree with grilled meat.
Mhm.
yes.
Definitely.
And I know it's like 8:25 at night, but we don't care.
We
We
actually
roll
don't.
with the flow around this joint. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, your husband didn't argue when he went and fired up the grill.
yeah.
Like, sure, why not?
He's known me long enough to know that, you know, that's how it goes. Okay, so, are you ready, babe?
Well, I mean, it's got a preheat.
Oh, it's not preheated yet? Well, it's ready to go when you're ready to go. Look at those big chunks of meat, man. Wow. It's pork chop. Now, you don't have to cook it to death. And let me just say, it is a myth that you have to cook pork, especially nowadays, well done. Because if you cook pork well done, it is going to be dry as a bone. Now, this helps because it has the bone in it and it has some fat on it. But pork, generally speaking, you can cook medium to medium well. And it is perfectly safe. You're not going to die of, what's that stuff they used to die of? Trichomonas? That's not right, is it?
Salmonella,
Trick is something other.
trichomoniasis or something.
Anyway, it's not salmonella. It's something, trick something other.
Trichomoniasis or
Something.
tricha.
I have no idea. But you're not going to die of
Not
that.
good.
So don't...
Do you have to let that kind of meat rest like you do steaks?
Yes,
after
all
it's-
meat you have to. That's a very good question, Allison. Thank you for asking. Any kind of meat that you take out of the oven or take off the grill or take out of a pan, you always have to let it rest because if you cut into it immediately, the juices that you work so hard to get are going to just splay out all over the pan. Hey, is that my new tongs? You're going to like those. Yeah, those are my new ones. Those are good. Yeah, they're going to splay out all, and all you, I mean, 5-10 minutes is all you need. And that, you know, that's another good point. You didn't bring this up, but I just thought about it. You want to take your meat off of the grill just before you think it needs to be taken off because there's going to be cookover or carryover time.
Right.
So when you take it off the grill or out of the oven, it's still going to be whatever degrees, and it's going to continue to cook for like 5 more minutes. So if you leave it on the grill when it's absolutely done, and I'm not talking about raw, you know, but you want to take it off the grill or out of the oven before you think it's like 5 minutes before you think it needs to be, generally speaking. But the best barometer to tell when meat is done is a thermometer, or if you're cooking with, like we like to cook steaks, there's an old thing like you touch your nose, you touch this or whatever. If you touch your nose,
Yeah.
it's hard, that's well done.
Okay.
If you touch your chin, feel the difference between your nose and your chin?
Mm-hmm.
Your chin is probably more like touching the meat is more like medium rare to medium. So that's kind of a good, you know, barometer to help you if you don't have a thermometer or whatever. But again, always remember that the food is going to continue to cook. You want to bring it in, cover it lightly with some tin foil, and then let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how big the meat is, and then you should be good to go.
Awesome.
Okay, so since it's going to take a while for him to do the pork chops, we'll close for now, and then maybe we'll go back to the pork chops. Does that sound good?
After you plate them?
Yeah, and we'll
And have
show
a
you.
presentation
We'll show you
or-
how they look. How does that sound?
Awesome. Okay.
Hope you enjoy.